Hey, I'm Mike Baccarella, and today we're going to take a look at how Wes Montgomery harmonized melodic lines using chords. Let's take a look. This chord solo comes from the Wes Montgomery tune called The Thumb. Now, this chord solo is actually a shout chorus from a Count Basie tune called Splanky, and I believe you can check it out on the record, The Atomic Count Basie. I highly recommend checking out a lot of big band music because a lot of this shout chorus and chord soloing stuff that you hear guys like Bruce Foreman, Wes Montgomery, Barney Kessel, and Joe Pass do all come from big band stuff. So one of the first things to remember when you're chord soloing is that you're not just playing a succession of chords, you're playing a melody that's harmonized with chords. So the first thing we have to take account of is the melody. So here's the melody of this shout chorus. Real simple blues thing. I should mention that the thumb is a blues in the key of G. So the changes we're going to be playing over is a blues in G. When we look at harmonizing melodies, there's a couple things we want to keep in mind. Wes primarily used drop 2 voicings when he harmonized melodies, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to use drop 2 voicings. So the first thing to keep in mind is anything that's on a chord tone, we're going to harmonize with a voicing of whatever chord we're playing over. So in this case, this first part we're playing over G. So we're going to harmonize anything with a G chord tone using some sort of G7 chord. Anything that's not a chord tone, we're going to handle one of two ways. We're going to handle either chromatically or with a diminished passing chord. So let's take a look at this. So the first note's C sharp. That's not a chord tone. But the next note's D. That is a chord tone over G7, right? So I'm going to choose a voicing that will fit with the D on top. So what I chose is a G9 here. Just voicing that we all use when we play blues. Now you can choose this regular G7. You can choose, G7 altered. You can choose whatever your ear tells you is the best. I think G9 sounds really good here, so that's what I'm going with. Now the next note is a G. So we can handle that with a G chord. So we could do a triad, we could do a G7. I'm doing a G13. So let's go back to that first note. So the first note's C sharp. So like I was saying, I can handle it with a diminished passing chord, or I can handle it by chromatically approaching the chord. So we're going to G7. Let's try an F sharp 9 under it. I think that sounds really good, because this first chord creates some tension, and we instantly resolve it. I think that sounds great. We could also do the diminished. They both sound good. In this case, I like the F sharp better. Okay, so we have... Okay, the next note is a C. Well, that's a non-chord tone. I'm just going to put a diminished there. Then we land on a B, which that is a chord tone over G7, so I'm just going to play a G7 voicing like this. So far, this is what we have. And then that repeats exactly as is. So now we're coming up to the 4 chord, and we have almost exactly the same melody. The only thing that changes is instead of playing B, we play B flat. So the note we're landing on here is a D, and that's not part of a C chord, but it's a ninth. And since that is the landing point of the melody, we're going to harmonize that with a C rather than some sort of diminished chord, because that wouldn't sound very resolved now. So I'm going to play, you could play a C9 like this. You could play a C add 9, triad. I like the sound of the C13. I got the ninth on top right there. So before that, I can play a B13. That sounds really good. Okay, then we go to a G. That is a chord tone over C, so I'm going to play a C9 there. Again, I could play a C7, I could play a C triad. You can do anything that your ear tells you. Then we go up to a C. And in this case, that's the root. So you can harmonize that with a C7. I'm choosing a C13 here. So I got B flat, D, E, C. And then we're going to B flat. Since that B flat is just another chord tone, I could play just a regular C7 with a B flat on top. But I like the sound of the tension, so I'm going to play a B flat diminished here, or a C7 flat 9. So Now we go back to G. And this is the only change I'm going to make, is that chord, because over the tune, we're getting ready for the 2/5. So in this case, the 2/5's in the key of G, we're going to A minor. So before that, we're going to play an E7. And so that's why I played that diminished there. That's an E7 flat 9, or a B diminished. So here's what we have leading up to the turnaround. So after this, Wes does a descending chord line using mostly A minor voicings. And we're going to skip that now because I wanted to focus on how he chose his voicings rather than just learning the part. The goal here is so you can take this knowledge and harmonize melodies of your own. You can harmonize the melodies of tunes, you can harmonize your own chord solos. There's a great book by Randy Vincent, I believe it's called the Drop 2 book, that has tons of exercises on how to do this, and I highly recommend checking it out if this is something you're interested in. And if you would like me to do more lessons on chord soloing and chords in general, please let me know in the comments. So thanks for checking out the lesson. Keep practicing. See you next time.